Towards the end of TGS last year, there was an open-world JRPG that caught my attention thanks to its big-looking open world and stunning visuals and character designs, and that game was Genshin Impact. Back then, it was slated for release on PS4, iOS, and Android, but since then, it's added Switch to its lineup of consoles. And with a world so massive that I wonder how it even manages to fit on smartphones, whether you're playing at home or portably, I think the more consoles the better. Especially now its closed beta has shown me how this is a game you can lose hours and hours in, no matter what you're playing on. The closed beta period is currently happening right now, however not everyone can play it as they're only inviting a certain number of people. So since I'm lucky enough to have access, I thought I'd give an overview of what the game is like as a whole on top of my impressions, both for those who are just hearing about it and those who want to hear more, as this stunning free-to-play upcoming RPG is certainly worth a look at if you're looking for a world to dive into. For those who are only hearing about the game this year, Genshin Impact is an upcoming open-world RPG from Chinese company miHoYo Games, who are known for some of their other smartphone successes such as Honkai Impact 3rd, which features characters that share a similar gorgeous art style. Genshin Impact's story is based around whichever twin you choose from its opening sequence, who are attacked by an unknown god, trapping them in the world they're in after they used to travel from world to world and separating them, along with stripping the main character of their powers. Whichever twin you choose starts a journey in the world of Teyva in search of their lost sibling alongside mascot character Paimon and the characters you meet from its cities, such as the Bader's town of Mondstadt and the Liyue harbor. And with this premise, you're left to discover the world of Teyva and all the mysteries it holds on your journey. The game features a big green-looking open world that, among other aspects of the game, had many quickly drawing parallels to Nintendo's Breath of the Wild, but then having enough controversy surrounding it that it had some people in my last Genshin Impact video referring to it as the game that made that one guy smash his PS4. Others also call it an anime version of the game, and if you put the two games side by side, even as someone like myself who hasn't played Breath of the Wild, you can see that one lent more than a bit of inspiration to the other. However, a recent interview I happened to come across with Genshin Impact's developers miHoYo said that some of the things that set it apart from the Zelda game are its characters, which have been around since the Genshin Impact manga was first released in late 2018, and therefore have quite a bit of lore to discover about them, and the company considers themselves storytellers. On top of that, the team are aiming to have elemental powers, and the way you can use them on the field act as a point of difference as well. So hopefully when the game is out, we can feel a connection to its characters through story and gameplay like we're supposed to. As someone like myself who mostly plays JRPGs and hasn't had a chance to play Breath of the Wild yet, the aesthetic of Genshin Impact's open world appeals to me along with the many things I found can be done in it, and I think it's aimed more at anime fans and JRPG fans like myself. And the story and how its beautiful characters play into it is something I want to keep discovering. So after having played with its closed beta, and with this game available on so many platforms, and the fact that it's going to be free, it's definitely one to watch if you're looking for an open world to get hooked on. And for JRPG fans who like an anime aesthetic like myself, I think there's an audience out there who will find this game appealing. At the time of making this video, the second closed beta for Genshin Impact is currently happening, and since I made a video talking about how to apply for access to this beta a couple of months ago, I hope some of you guys have been playing as well. I also have access to the beta and have had 10 hours fly by in it, thanks to its many systems and big world, that have me seeing the complete potential for it to be a game you can lose many hours to. One of the main things I noticed during my time in the beta was just how many systems Genshin Impact has hidden within it, and how they work together well to create a game flow that encourages you to keep exploring. From elemental attacks, cooking, to gathering offerings to give to statues, and challenges that incorporate all these things seamlessly make it easy to always have something to do as you're playing through its big world. The best example I can think of this was after I finished the first bigger part of its story. After a quest that took me through 3 of its interesting domain dungeons that were full of traps and gameplay challenges of their own, I was dropped in the middle of its world needing to get from adventure a level 5 to 10 in order to advance the story, which sounds like it could take a while. However, the game gave me a side story that let me get to know one of its characters better, giving purpose to my exploration immediately. And doing that quest sent me to multiple parts of the map, which let me get distracted by things like treasure chests or sparkly things that led to treasure. And there were other points of intrigue like new monsters I found while running around that I could have left markers for. And if I ran around and did every single thing that caught my eye, the quest could have taken much longer than the 2 hours I took doing it while still getting a little bit distracted. Once I finished the quest that led me through another domain with some interesting side story, I had a small amount of free time until the next adventure level to explore and go back and do the things I didn't stop to do before, and when my adventure level went up again, another side story appeared, and the way it flowed meant that there was no break in my exploration from one level to another. This is on top of the fact that there are already so many smaller systems in the game that it's hard to mention them all, and I'm sure there's more to find. To give you an idea of what you can play within the world, I found an alchemy system, which I was naturally very happy about. There's also cooking, your adventure rank increases and you get presents at the adventurer guild in town every time it does. There are challenge monsters to find, things hiding above ground, and finally characters even have a friendship level that I'm not sure how it will play a role, but it is there. And I'm sure there are many things I've missed and haven't found yet for myself. There are also the statues of 7 on the map that seem to unlock more places to explore and give you more options of things to do as you find them. So with this being just what I found in my first 10 hours, I think it's needless to say at this point that there is no shortage of things to do in Genshin Impact. A lot of things you find on the map lead to doing challenges, such as ones that make you work for the treasure chests you're trying to open, and the more challenges I did through my playthrough, the more I noticed an emphasis on the use of elementals in this world. Each character has their own element, such as wind, fire, and ice, that all have their own names like Amino, Pyro, and Cryo respectively. And whether it's using fire to burn down an enemy's shield to make them defenseless, or to have the right one to light up a certain pillar, the emphasis on this made having a party full of various elements feel important, especially how they can also help you navigate terrain, like freezing water to get across it. With the amount of characters available and the gorgeous designs, I can see collecting them and having a good amount being something worth doing in this story, and with their cool designs making them something I want to collect outside of the elemental aspect anyway, it'll be cool to use them actively while going through the world. In terms of getting characters, there is a kind of gacha system called wishes in the game where you can use certain fate points to make a wish or 10 to draw characters, equipment, and other items with the usual kind of chance-based draw situation that I expect from a game with a gacha. At the moment in the closed beta, these aren't tied behind any monetization elements, and instead you can buy more points using other currency in the closed beta shop or find them while playing. But since they are in the beta shop, it does make me wonder if they'll be buyable in the final game, but that's just speculation. I do want to say that I did get a character from most of the draws I did, except 1 or 2, with getting a character a second time converting them into a useful item to help their progression, and even getting equipment you already have allows you to refine its base effects. So most draws felt worthwhile in some way, at least. I do wonder if there's more to learn about this aspect or character development in general too, as I did notice stars below each character's name that reminded me of how you get better units in other games, so there's definitely more to find out, and I look forward to seeing how this part of the game unfolds. The final thing that impressed me about Genshin Impact was its quality. You might notice that my footage from the game, while fairly smooth, isn't as smooth and is 60 frames per second as others, and that's because I was playing on my laptop. I did buy my laptop last year, and it's the one I edit videos on, but it's not specifically set up for gaming, as I usually just play on consoles. Even in its lower quality setting on my computer, thanks to its lighting and art style, it still looks great, and with my laptop being portable, I was impressed by the idea that I could boot up something this deep and beautiful on my lunch break, as it ran just fine and more than smooth enough for me to get sucked into the gameplay loop and feel like doing so during the day. My footage being on the lower end is also likely good news for someone getting it on a dedicated gaming device, PC or not, as it will likely look even better than my setup, but I also like the idea that, say, if someone else plays it on their regular everyday laptop like me, on a smartphone, or even on Switch, it can still look great, and it's still something you can get into and enjoy the pretty scenery in, even if you don't have an amazing gaming PC or something like that. As the text at the bottom of most of my footage says, this is just from the beta, and every single little bit of the game isn't perfect and in its final form yet, and I did notice a few very minor things that could be fixed. For example, some of the voice lines, which had a great English dub so far, are slightly different to what's written on screen, and I would also like to see a few quality of life things added in, such as having health bars viewable when switching characters in the party screen. However, these are just tidbits and didn't stop me from wanting to run around and look at everything. So after going hands-on and seeing more of what this game is for myself, I look forward to flying around and playing more with Genshin Impact in its current and future versions, as its world of many things to do that all flow into each other is a whole lot of fun to play with. The closed beta revealed a lot of things to me throughout my time with it. However, there are a few little things here and there that we still have yet to find out about. Since this game will be free to play, the main question on my mind is monetization, which in the WCCF tech interview I mentioned earlier is something MiHoYo aren't releasing information about yet. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it was to do with the currencies to use the gacha, although I also wonder how this would work considering there were two slightly different types of the Fate currency in the beta. Another thing I'm personally curious about as well is if we'll be able to play with one account across multiple devices. I really enjoyed playing on my laptop and the fact that it worked when I was away from a power source, but if I could play at home using my PS4 and say on the go with my Switch, that would be my preferred way of playing. So I'm curious if this will be possible, and I'm crossing my fingers that it will, as Honkai Impact 3rd has some kind of cross-platform support, and MiHoYo mentioned in that interview that they understand it's important to their players, so let's hope so. The final thing we don't know about Genshin Impact is when it will launch. It was originally set for a spring 2020 release, but since the game is still in the beta phase and I've seen it floating around online that it's now slated for just 2020, it looks like we're still waiting. Betas are happening though, and apparently there may be more to come, so hopefully things are on track for this year and we can get our hands on a final version soon. Until then, since I had to play with a watch next to me while I was playing to make sure I wasn't late for work, I feel pretty positively about Genshin Impact so far, especially after playing this beta. The world has so much crammed in it, from characters to keep meeting, cliffs to fly across, and treasure to find, and probably even more since it seemed like the beta still has content I haven't even seen yet that I hope to play very, very soon. Overall, I felt the kind of addictive game rush I felt from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when it first came out, when I wanted to explore every corner of it, and that kind of feeling only leads to great and terrible things. So until we hear more, I hope more of you guys get to try it through the closed beta, which I'll leave a link for where you can apply for below, and if you don't get to play that, the final version is coming and I think is certainly worth being excited about as well. In the meantime, I'll probably either be playing or fighting the urge to, and I can't wait to play with it more in the future. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you tried the Genshin Impact closed beta and if you're excited for the game. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below. I hope you all are well, and until next time, thank you, bye!